Ever since I was a child, people said my family was cursed. Mom tried to protect us with God. Pop tried to protect us with wrestling. He said if we were the toughest, the strongest, nothing could ever hurt us.
Perfect. So welcome everyone to Cine Experto. Today I have a very special guest. He is a professional wrestler, or as a matter of fact, you are doing right now movies with Hollywood, and you just recently did the movie The Iron Claw. Chavo Guerrero, how you doing today?
Good, man. Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
No problem. So where do you start when you have to work with somebody who has no training at all, no knowledge at all of wrestling? Is this the same type of training that you do with actors versus the real wrestlers?
Completely different. Completely different. I'm not training an actor to wrestle at WrestleMania. I'm training an actor to look like a wrestler in a wrestling scene. So definitely different for sure. That being said, it's still wrestling in a wrestling ring, so you can't cheat at all. They're still gonna have to, take some bumps and bruises there a little bit if they're willing.
Perfect. So you work with Zac Efron, Jeremy Allen, Harrison Dickinson. Was this a one-on-one session, or how do you coordinate everybody? Because I'm not sure if everybody gets the same type of training.
I do everybody individual at first, and then I start kind of marrying us all together, depending on what scene I'm rehearsing or that kind of stuff, because my very first thing is to get the actors familiar with the ring and, just walking in the ring, kind of footwork stuff, way before I start doing any choreography, just kind of getting them to kind of start looking like a pro wrestler before I can start teaching them pro wrestling stuff.
And wow, what a transformation from Zac Efron, like to build that body. Is this something that you did with him, or how did that happen?
Zac's a machine. He's one of those actors, as was every actor on this production, that they took it in their own hands to get to where they needed to be for a character, whether it be choreography or working out or acting stuff, whatever. These guys went above and beyond. As you can see, I mean, they look amazing.
They look really amazing. Now, wrestling comes in your family as well, but how do you relate to this story, like into your early years? Do you have a chance to watch the Von Erichs wrestle?
So I'm coming from a Texas wrestling family, me and the Guerreros, and the Von Erichs were the other Texas wrestling family. There's a couple other ones in there, but really, so there was a big rivalry. There was a competitive rivalry for years and years before that. We used to wrestle for their promotion. They would wrestle for our promotion. So we crossed paths several different times. And I'm talking about my uncle and my fathers and that era. I was the next generation underneath. So there was a competitive rivalry. So I was very familiar with the family, and then the family story, the family tragic story after, for sure. And then still friends with the family way before this movie was ever on the radar for me. I was helping their younger sons, Kevin's younger sons, in their wrestling journeys as kind of a mentor for them. And then this kind of came along. So it just was a perfect fit.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, you have a scene in the movie where you actually act with Zac, that he just jumps from the top rope. Is this true?
Absolutely. So I play the Sheik in the movie, and I have the very first wrestling match of the movie is me wrestling Zac Efron, who's Kevin Von Erich. But yes, he comes off the top rope with a big cross-body press, we call it in pro wrestling, and
Wow.
he went for it. When I explained to him, I was like, hey, it's going to seem weird, but the higher you jump, the easier it is. And he was like, what? I go, if you jump fast and slow, it's like a dart and I can't catch you. But when you jump high with hang time, I can see you and I can adjust to catch you and you can adjust to me. And he was like, oh, okay. So then he jumps and I was like, whoa, he jumped so far up that he jumped out of frame in a sense. So we had to adjust the camera for it. And he was so great.
Wow. Well, how difficult was this? I mean, how many takes did it actually take? I mean, because I know in a wrestling match, it's so little time.
So sometimes sometimes wrestling in a scene in a movie is tougher than wrestling because you're doing it for a much longer period of time. So Sean Durkin, our director and creator of the show, he of the movie, I'm sorry, he wanted to see full matches because he's a wrestling fan, but he wanted to pick and choose what parts he wanted from the matches. So the first match that I did with Zac Efron was about 10 to 12 minute match. And we filmed this over about a 4 hour time. And then you go to lunch and you come back and you film again. So, pro wrestling, it's tough. It's hard, of course, but I do it for 20 minutes and I'm out of there. Here you're doing this wrestling scenes. Sometimes you do it for 4 hours. So that's the tough part about it.